Somebody lift those hands and say, it's a new rise. I need you to speak it over your own life tonight. It's a new rise. It's a new rise.
Hello, 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 and welcome to, I was going to say Novita, welcome to Propel, your business and life deep dive. I'm Megan DiMartino, and I am thrilled to have my dear friend and colleague in life, Dr. Tanjie Brewer, with us tonight. But before I introduce Dr. Tanjie, I just would like to share a little bit about the Propel program. The deep dive tonight, this is our global edition, as well as the other pieces to Propel. Propel is a movement. Propel really came out of my 40 years of building businesses. And when I sold a portion of my Novita Spa Medical Rejuvenation Clinic in 2020, I knew I wasn't retiring, I was refiring, as my friend Sharon Lecter said to me. And with that, I knew that it was incumbent upon me to put together a program for you to help you start, scale, and sustain the business and life of your dreams. So that came to life with the Propel Your Business and Life Activation Program. And that is live and well on the megandimartino.com website. And from there, I started branding Propel. Someone said to me just recently, I'm a propeller. I'm propelling you to start, scale, and sustain not only the business, but the life of your dreams, to get off the couch, to take that step. That second and third step will be revealed to you. So over these last 2 years, I've started the Propel community. And so Angeline will be putting all of the links on the trailer here for you to join us in the Propel community, where you receive a daily motivation mindset nugget from me, quotes of mine, quotes of people and things that I have loved. And so I share these with you every morning. You wake up and hopefully I'm the first thing that you see when you open your phone. Then we do a what I call the Motivation Mindset newsletter. And there's a theme for that each week. And then we do the deep dive, which is Wednesday evenings. And then last week, for instance, we did the first Propel Expansion Empowerment Challenge. And it was so fabulous. I had 8 speakers with me. We did a panel at noontime, and Dr. Tanjie and I will speak about that this evening. But the theme of that, guys, is your identity. Because if you don't have clarity of who you are, what you are, whose you are, you will just drift here and there and try a little of this and little of that. And so tonight, Tanjie and I are going to recap with Angeline. We're going to recap last week's really exciting launch of the Propel Expansion Empowerment Challenge. And we're going to go a little deeper into Dr. Tanjie. I have some questions I want to ask she about her, her business, that, her, I don't want to say her identity, but her business and what she does and how it evolved and how it came to be. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you this evening, my dear friend and colleague in life and biz ministry, Dr. Tanjie Brewer.
Hello. Good evening, Megan. And hello to your audience, all the listeners too as well. I hope you're feeling vivacious tonight.
And absolutely, I'm looking at you, Dr. Tanjie, in your beautiful red. I'm glad I wore the crimson, the hot pink here. But I'm leaving tomorrow for early in the morning for a conference, let's call it that, put on by my friend and colleague as well, who joined us last week, Summer Day, Her Fear into Faith. And so I'm driving 3 hours up to Fort Worth from Austin tomorrow morning. So I've been tying so many loose ends together today to be able to go up there. And so I threw the scarf on, threw this cap on, but I'm looking at you, the juxtaposition. I think I'm going to have to get a different stool to bring myself up into the camera. I'm looking at that, but because we're live here on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then the audio app, a Clubhouse in the Breakfast with Champions After Hours. So a lot of people are listening to us, but Tanjie, it's going to go into YouTube to live on, and then, of course, into the podcasting platform. So I'm just so excited that you were able to join me tonight, Dr. Tanjie.
Well, glad to be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a, you know, we're all busy and we're all doing so many things. But I know in my spirit, Dr. Tanjie, that it's imperative for us, you and I and others who have platforms, to help others know that it's not insurmountable for them to have their own platform, so be it.
Right.
Whatever that is. And I see this, and I was speaking to someone today who has a program for TEDx speakers, and we were talking about just this. We were talking about how people are walking in fear. They're walking in, and they don't even know it, that they are walking in fear, and it's stifling them from that expansion mode. And so I want you and I to delve a little deeper to what we spoke about last week. And I'd love, before you share about yourself, because I have a lot of questions I want to ask you personally about your style, I want to say it correctly, stylish and fit. What would you say you see in your world, because you consult and work with businesses and corporate folks and business people? What do you see out in the world, Dr. Tanjie?
Well, there's a lot going on. What I see, it's a lot of hope. I will say that.
Good.
I see that a lot of people are wanting to live abundantly. And that word abundant means something different for everyone. What I see is that people want to definitely make a difference in the world. I find that there are some people who are searching for what that is. They're not exactly sure in this totality of all that they're supposed to do. They feel these little gifts rumbling inside of them. They feel like they have these talents, but they're not sure what direction to go. And then there are some that they know their direction, they're clear about their talents, but they're like, okay, do I have the resources? How do I get it done? And so there's a lot of a variety of things that I see that's going on. But really, the essence of it, I do see a lot of hope, Megan.
Great.
There's hope in people's eyes, and there's hope for their futures. They want to live an abundant life, and that's a good thing.
Amen. Oh, very much so. And I agree with you. I really feel that hope outweighs the fear, but it's incumbent upon us to help people strategize and find those directions that you're saying, so that they don't get stuck in the mud and do not fulfill their destinies, their field of favor, so to speak, that God has put in their hearts, their lives, their beings. Because as my book says, and I say this all the time, meaning the title of my book, Hope and Possibilities, just over the horizon, that it's never too early or too late to create the life of your dreams. It's never too late. I don't care what age you are and what you're doing and what setbacks you've had, because those setbacks are really just, you've heard setbacks for set up for a comeback, but it's also learning through these challenges of what have you, that's going on.
And Megan, everyone has those challenges that they have to endure, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to look at those limiting beliefs and that fear that kind of comes in people's faces, right? And how do you go about smashing those? It's like the person who does the vision board every single year. They have the vision board, but they don't have the route, that action board, right? They've got the vision board, but what's that action to get
That's
to
it.
vision, to get to that manifestation? And many a times the blockages are keeping people from actually getting traction, because there's a distractions that are dissing their traction, so they're not able to move about as they should. And you mentioned fear. I came up with an acronym for fear, Megan. It is forgetting. The E is for every. A, apprehensive reaction. So forgetting every apprehensive reaction, because when people are fearful, it's that apprehension. Should I do this? Can I do this? Do I have what it takes to do this? And oftentimes that apprehension will stop people in their tracks. So you have to forget about that apprehension. You have to just go forward and know that God has already gone before you, and trust what is in your gut. I always say that the inner is the winner, but it takes that one step forward for those resources to come your way. And what you're doing, Megan, with the Propel business conferences and all that you're doing, what you just did last week was awesome. It was a challenge to say, hey, what are you going to do right now with the gifts that are in your hands? How do you move forward with it and obliterate anything else that's standing in your way?
Amen. The 5 C's from the Propel program are clarity, courage, confidence, commitment, and compassion. And I say clarity is the number 1 C to start and scale and sustain the business and life of your dreams. Because if you are not clear, then those doubts, not even necessarily fear, but those doubts creep in and will abort taking that first step that you're speaking
Yeah.
about.
Well,
And
my word here, visibility. So you're talking about clarity. Visibility is still my word for this year, because you want to make sure that you're so pistol sharp focused and that visibility is there so that you can land that vision, you can land that plane, right?
yes,
You see clearly, and nothing is in your way. You're not looking at what anyone else is doing. There's no comparisons. You are just staying focused, fiercely focused on that target. So mine is visibility. So I love that word clarity, Megan. It's
yeah.
such a power.
And visibility is such an, because you think about visibility like a car, the windshield,
Yeah.
meaning when the visibility, it has been raining here for the last couple of days, and I went and had my car washed because it was so muddy and mucky, the visibility was diminished. And so it's about removing those things that are going to stop you from having that visibility. But then people will say, but visibility is like Grant Cardone says, it's better to be better known than best, meaning, so that's visibility, meaning to be out there, so to speak. But I really look at it as that visibility to look within and see what is driving you to attain those dreams, goals, and desires that you have. And so I want to ask you, Dr. Tanjie, because you were on the Propel Deep Dive way back in the beginning when I started it in 2023, and I started in March, and you were one of the first guests then. But I want to ask you about your stylish and fit. I mean, now, and Dr. Tanjie, meaning the doctor. So tell us all, our guests, a little bit about yourself, meaning your trajectory to visibility, to trajectory to what you're doing today. Just a little sketch.
Oftentimes when someone starts anything profound, a business, it is because they have a deepness inside of them, the reason why, right? So my
Mm-hmm.
reason why for me, Megan, was my dear mother, who passed away at the age of 55 years old due to high blood pressure. And I was working in a corporate position at the time where I felt like I worked my way up. I was managing 100 reps and managers. I had my own center and own secretary and all of that. It was a wonderful, wonderful position when my mother passed. And it was something that I felt was so preventable, right? It was due to some hypertension. And she wasn't severely overweight or anything or in the hospital in and out. She just didn't put her health and wellness at the forefront because she had her 6 children. My father was a pastor, right? And she was taking care of my 97-year-old grandfather. And so I began to look at people around the world, and I wanted to see people grow old and gray and pursue purpose. And that's when I made the decision to start Stylish and Fit in 2010. And what I will tell everybody is that when you make a decision to do something that is in your belly to do, that's your passion, the blueprint will come, right? That success blueprint will come, and you have to listen and be in tune, write down the vision, make it plain, right? But all of the pieces to the puzzle begin to come essentially for my company. And that will lead me, Megan, to transforming the lives of over 1,000 bodies around the globe through my award-winning Lifestyle Vitality program and other things too as well. And that would also give me platforms through speaking in churches and organizations, and through empowering people to be their best selves and live a lifestyle of vitality and know that they can increase optimal health, wellness, and esteem for a lifetime now at any given stage in their life. So I work with a variety of clients from shapes, sizes, ages, colors, creeds, all of that. And it's a blessing. And for me, that situation with my mother propelled me into my purpose, right? So oftentimes something is that propeller for anybody who's watching. I'm sure someone can think about, okay, what was a propeller for you, right? And that is what started Stylish and Fit. And what is keeping it going, Megan, are the lives that are being transformed. And when I saw a long time ago that it wasn't so that people can get in an itty bitty teeny weeny polka dot bikini for the females, or the guys can walk around in Speedos on the beach, it was a correlation to their purpose. I saw that when people transformed their bodies, they were clearer in the vision of what God had caused them to do, right? So what I saw, Megan, was this, is that when you put your flesh under subjection, and when you allow discipline to take over in your life, and you understand that you are energy and you want to make sure that you're maximizing that, when you take care of your body, there's a difference in the way that you impact the earth. There is a difference. And that is why I came up with the tagline, rocking your purpose with vitality. That is essentially what we want to do, right? We want to be as impactful on this earth as we can. And you have to have clarity of thought, which is health and wellness, clarity of vision. This body has to be strong and healthy, because every time you enter a room, people can sense your vitality. They can sense how joyful you are, right? Everybody has a positivity meter. They can sense what you feel from the inside out, from how you dress, how you project yourself, how you stand up straight, how you stand up tall, and the health of your body as well. You are an energetic force, and it is transferable. So that is what I found out, Megan, early on in my business, that there was a direct correlation between purpose and the way that people take care of their bodies.
Amen. Wow, Dr. Tanji, it is such a powerful, meaning what you just shared, with the tragedy and sadness about your mother, but the trajectory of that, using it in a positive fashion for your life as well as others. So I want to go back though to that. I mean, you were in um, a moment in time, meaning of grieving, losing your mom, and you had a good corporate job, and you came to this understanding of what you just shared, that you needed to make a change, and a change for others, that you would help others not fall into the trap that your mother had fallen into. But I want you to share with our guests what tools did you use to not get stuck in the what ifs? Meaning you were leaving a corporate job, you were leaving a consistent, a career path, not only your income, but just the path, the trajectory of what had been working on. So how did you overcome that? Well, how did you work with those challenges at that time?
I love that question, Megan, because my dear father, I love him so much. He cares about his daughter. And he looked at me, he said, with the economy right now, with this amazing job that you have, do you really want to leave? You're at the top of your game. I mean, my boss, they all love me so much. I didn't have a boss where I was, but of course, everybody, they had someone hire. I wasn't the CEO of this company. And so they loved me. And my dad said, are you sure you want to do this? And then you asked about this what if. And I changed that what if around. What a lot of times, Megan, I often do is I change things around to the positive. What if I don't do it?
Right.
What
Right.
if not me, then who, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if I don't follow my dreams? And I started thinking about this because at this time, Megan, I was carrying life, and I had my son, and I
Oh,
looked in his eyes because I was actually on maternity leave when I made the decision to start my own business, right? And I looked in his eyes, and I was holding life. And I looked in his eyes and I saw purpose beyond me. And you have to see purpose beyond you when you decide to take a step. So, what if I didn't do it? Then I would be denying my son a mother who was walking in her purpose. I would not have been able to transform all the lives and the bodies that I have, Megan. So, if not you, then who? What
Man,
if you don't move? And I started thinking about it that way, and tears rolled down my eyes for those next mornings. And I said, okay, God, I know what I have to do. And I made the decision that I had to have faith in what I could not see. And what if something on the other side was greater than what I couldn't see? And I chose the greater, Megan. I chose the greater.
yes, yes. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I know, as I know, that will help so many people right there, Dr. Tanjie, because it's not the what if, it's what if I do not? What
Yes.
if I do not? As Danelle Delgado says, who will lose if I don't win? You know, I mean, it's that moment in time that you look at those reality, so to speak. If I stay, okay, that's a given, you know, but that doesn't mean that that company won't go out of business or move to, you know, wherever. I mean, so there are things that are always going to change. And that's why I really lean on the word evolve, because one step leads to the next step and things are always evolving.
Always.
Always evolving. And I look at it as our business and our lives interacting, and that it's like a chessboard. One move leads to the next move and the next move. And it's just really being wise and using wisdom in understanding those steps, which will lead to the next step. So how long did it take your dad to become your raving fan?
Oh my goodness. It didn't take my dad very long.
Mhm.
Definitely after my first challenge, which lifestyle vitality challenge,
Uh-huh.
got a great number of women, and the transformations were incredible. One of my first transformations was a size 22 to a size 12,
Oh,
and then
wow.
a size 12 to a size 6. And she didn't know fully who she was. And when my dad came to what I would do after, which would be the big reveal,
Mhm.
which shows everybody's newfound passions and vitality on stage, he was just blown away. And he was like, I'm so proud of you. And he would tell me that until he left this earth, which was in 2019. But I definitely hear his voice
Right?
now. He's always been so proud of me for making that decision. And oftentimes, sometimes it's the people that are closest to us, they may not understand, but you have to trust that inner voice inside of you, because when you stand before God, it's not going to be anyone else. You know, it's going to be you. Did you fulfill your purpose? Did you do the work that I gave you in your with to do? That's what God's going to say. Did you do the work that I gave you to do? Or did you listen? Were you apprehensive, right? Were you in fear? Those are the questions you have to ask yourself. There's power in movement. There's power in movement, and there are resources in movement. And that is what I've seen along the way, Megan. I've seen that each time I was obedient to God, it really strengthened my faith muscle.
Mhm.
So now, like, I will take risks. There's nothing that I won't do, because I trust that God's going to catch me. It's like, if you don't catch me, then who's going to catch me? You're going to catch me. I know you are, right? That's the confidence. That's how we roll. That's how me and God.
Amen, sister. Well, you know, you said about your family, and someone asked me recently, and I said, you know, my family, which is, you know, extended family and friends and whomever that have known me a long time, they have learned to not even question some of these, you know, oh, I'm doing X, you know, they have learned not to, but it took a while for them to come aboard, you know, so to speak.
Yes.
But now it's like they see the essence, you know, of this whatever, meaning what you said about faith and trusting the Lord and taking those steps. But it's taken a while, trust me. And
Right.
with that said, back in the day, Dr. Tanji, I mean, I had to overcome so many people, naysayers, so to speak. And that's something that I'd like to, have you share about, because again, your dad, yes, but he was your champion regardless.
Yeah.
That would be the case, but out in the field, out in the world, in your friends and so forth, how do you overcome that nagging, oh, maybe Susie was right, maybe I shouldn't have done that, maybe, that type of thing. You've basically answered it, but I would love you to reiterate it, because that is such a key thing to people stopping themselves in the tracks.
You're absolutely right. A lot of times people will put you in the box that they feel that you should be in,
Yes.
right? There have been people who say like, oh my gosh, you should be in corporate America and be doing that. I've heard that many times. You know what you could do if you were this, you could take over this or that, but you have to trust what you have in your spirit to do. Really, that's really essentially what it boils down to. But one of the things I would be told a lot is that there's a lot of things that you focus on. Okay, you're into fashion, you're fitness, nutrition, you wrote a cookbook, you're a vegan chef, you're this, you're that, right? How do you focus on it all? You should just pick one thing.
Mm.
That is something that I've heard people say. And at one time I remember thinking, well, should I just focus on one thing? And it's just no, right? I'm like, God is so incredible and he's so powerful. I don't have to just focus on one thing if we're made in his image, right? And so I had to have that confidence within my own self. But Megan, really what has helped me not listen to other people is the manifestations of what I believe God has told me to do, and then it manifests and he shows me how he did it and I see how he did it. It's like, it's so powerful. And so that has also strengthened my confidence. And you call it Godfidence. We've heard that, right? Godfidence instead of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that anybody can say or do to break me down or shake me, because I know who I am. And there's where identity comes in, right? When you know your identity,
Yes.
seriously, everybody, you're in a place of so much power that you understand that God is your CEO, right? And I know we're speaking about this. I know you're a believer, Megan, and hopefully those that are watching who believe in a higher power. There's a scripture in the book called Bible. It says, "My children hear my voice, and the voice of a stranger they will not hear." And so when someone talks to me and I know it doesn't register with my spirit, it's like clanging cymbals. And
Mm-hmm.
I've done that away, and I will smile politely, and I will stay on track. I just don't get easily distracted by naysayers, Megan, because people are going to say what they want to say about you. They may not agree with what you're doing. And really, no one else's head is a place for your happiness. That's essentially what it is.
It is. It is. It's, that's a key. That's something I'd like to focus on for our guests, because it really is not about the naysayers, and it's not even about your champions. It's about you and your spirit. It really is. And, when I moved to Texas in 1987 for a corporate job with Alcon Laboratories. And I took that job specifically because I knew by that point I wanted to do a skincare line. But back in the day, there was no Dr. Google to confer with, or, internet and Google this, Google that. And so you had to really glean information from human beings. And so when I was offered that job with this pharmaceutical company, I knew I could hang out with sophisticated chemists. So I packed up the wagon train and went to this foreign land called Texas from New York, but with my 11-year-old daughter at the time. And so I had this corporate job. But I knew, as I knew, Dr. Tanjie, that it was just a means to an end. It was me to hang out with these chemists and learn and grow and do. So when I was leaving my job, my father called me and he said, "What the heck?" And he said, "You come back to New York, you are talented, you get a job with, Estee Lauder or whatever." I said, Dad, you are an entrepreneur. I learned from you. And I saw you. And so I just continued on. And one of the greatest compliments I got, or moments in time, I guess I should say, is years later, after I had started Glycolique, my first brand, and I was probably 5 years into it, and my mother, visiting my parents, and my mother said to me, "You know what? You're more like your dad than all of, I'm the middle kid, And she goes, "You're more like your father than any of these kids." And so, and it was it is so true, Dr. Tanji, but I couldn't stop just because my dad thought it was a insane, crazy idea to leave corporate America with a kid in college, also, by the way. And, and that wasn't, but I'd saved and prepared. But separate from that, I knew as I knew, if I didn't do it, I would never, ever, I would have done it probably later because I couldn't not do it. Do you know what I mean? It was that burning desire within me. But it's who we are, and it is that identity. It truly is that identity. So I would love to spend a minute on identity. Were you at when the opening of the Propel expansion, when I opened it up last Thursday?
Yes, I was.
Okay, when I read that little piece,
Yes. Yes.
this is a book called The Living Fearless. And I started this probably at Christmas time, and Jamie Winship. But this is about Jesus. And regardless, we know that Jesus was a human. He was man and walked this planet. And, but this gentleman in this was writing, he was talking about Jesus knew his identity. He knew why he came and what his mission was. But so he said, if you saw Jesus do something with the false names and identities that you wrote down, like, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so this, I'm so that, do what you saw, or he said that you wrote down, do what you saw, or throw them in the trash can, rip them up, spit on them, burn them, whatever feels right to you, but get rid of them, meaning that they are not truth.
Yes. Right. Right.
Not truth. And that I am statement, I am this. Well, you can turn that around and speak to, I am so,
Yes.
courageous. I am so creative. I am so passionate. I am joyful. It's as easy to focus on those things as I am confused. I am, so just share thoughts about that.
I love, first of all, the word identity. And when I think about that word, I broke it down on your last summit. It's I and then dent. So, what is the dent that you're making in the earth? What are you denting with, right? Like,
Right.
talent, it's I dent. That's your identity. It is wrapped into purpose, really, essentially. And so, when you know your purpose, then you have a full understanding of the direction that you're to go. And you also are not very quick to allow other things to cloud your mind. And you're so right about those I am statements. I'm really quick to let anybody know when they say I'm a dork, you know how they're just being so silly about it because they did something. Like, no, don't speak that over yourself, right? And what the words that we speak, they're in motion. And so you're absolutely right, Megan. We've got to speak those words over ourselves. We got to say those affirmations every single day and understand who your identity is in too. That's another key factor as well.
I love the fact that Angeline has the information from last week's up on the screen.
Oh, thank you for that. I have to let me see if I can screenshot Angeline.
Yeah, thank you, Angeline. She's the best producer.
She is. Angeline is wonderful. That is someone to have on your team. And when you are operating in purpose, it's awesome to see the people that latch on with you. And you definitely have an incredible mover and shaker in Angeline.
And behind the scenes, I always like to give shout out. She's not watching tonight, but Elizabeth Hauser, who is my graphic designer, and she's been with me for 13 years. And so what I love about, and all the gals that used to work for me at Novitas Spa Medical Rejuvenation Clinic, who are now leasing rooms in the clinic where we do our regenerative stem cell. Like you said, it really is about building relationships. And honestly, Dr. Tanjie, that is why I do the Propel community. The whole essence of this is because of giving people that opportunity to join forces. And that's what your whole program is about as well with Stylish and Fit, is really giving people community to be together. And that is another piece I'd like to just glean about, because again, we cannot do this life alone. We can't.
We
We
can't. I mean, there's something that's so powerful about when you get people together that
Mhm.
all desire to elevate. It's like fertilizer for results, right? It's like getting a bunch of leaders in the room. I recently went to a conference and I'm a part of this mastermind group called the Carnegie Principle Mastermind. And when you have a group of people who all understand their purpose, their identity, they all want to elevate. I always say it's fertilizer for results. There is no lack of communication, inspiration, information, collaboration. It's fertile in that environment, right? There's something incredibly dynamic about getting together and being at the table, right? Being in proximity. Then, when you get together and do the community, like you just spoke about, the lifestyle vitality community, when you are on a live, like one of the lady girls said today, she said, if I were not on this live doing the workout with you all, I would have stopped because I was tired and I would have stopped and grabbed water and then sat right there on the couch, right? But because you guys were there staring at me in the face, and because I was going, you can do this, come on, everybody, pass the burn, that's where the magic happens, then I kept on going. And so we have to understand that we are not just here for ourselves, but when we show up for someone else, right? Because when people see you show up, that's going to make them go harder. And so it's so important to realize that community is something that is just incredible. You need it. We all need it.
And you know, you just said about this gal saying that if I wasn't here, I would have stopped. I'm looking, I put my glasses on, I'm looking. So at the 11th, I put this magenta scarf on, and look at you. I mean, we actually juxtapose our colors here.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's called energy, right?
It's called energy. And I love that we have our minor fashion glasses. I love a pair of glasses. I don't wear real glasses, but I love fashion glasses. And so here we both are in our glasses too as well. And
Yes.
yes, we're synergy, but yeah, color is energy. I often tell people everyone has a power color. It is that color that awakens them, right? But it's what you perceive about it. This is what someone told me. She said, power, or she was telling me she really loved the color red, but she said someone said that it meant just fire and meanness. So I was like, what? And I'm like, no, red is powerful. Red is electric. So you have to look at perception. You have to take what the negativity right back. You got to be the person to smash that negativity. And look, that was just in color. But imagine that was one thing she heard from someone, which caused her not to wear the color red, right? Because
Yes.
someone gave that negative connotation about it. But I think that there's so much power in color, Megan, because we don't want to walk around dull. We want to have energy and it's reflective, right? So I can go on. I know this is not about style, but you know I love style, and we can take a deep dive into that.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, we're going to take a little turn over here to style, because to me, you know, I grew up on Long Island outside of New York City. And my father and mother loved going into Manhattan. Now, they didn't have a lot of money, so we just walked around most often and went into free museums and the like. So that was my fertilizer.
Yes,
Okay.
I love it.
That was truly my fertilizer. And I wanted to go to FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology, because my mother, who was a great, seamstress, she was able to take patterns, Tangie, and I'd say, I love those sleeves, but I like that back. And she could take the pattern and put it together. So if it was a different time, we probably would have done something together. But I wanted to go to FIT. And my father said, no, no, you have to go to a Catholic girls' college. Okay. So I did not go to FIT. But I knew that, I mean, I think back to myself, let's just say that. I have always been creative.
Right.
So kid that did the lemonade stand. I was the kid that did the play. I mean, the other kids were older, but I was like the director and producer, you know, saying, hey, let's put this together. So creativeness is my passion, but then time has evolved and shown me my purpose, which is to help others identify their dreams, goals, and desires and attain them. But the creative piece will never leave me, no matter what I do. I mean, it could be a mundane thing. I'm talking about just, I'm sitting here with all my work around me, and it could be a mundane thing, but it's feeding, and you said it earlier, everything works together.
Synergistic, yeah.
It just works together. And so if I wasn't going to do a mundane thing, like put orders into my warehouse, no one can get their shipments that they've paid for, you know? So the point is that everything works together, but the essence of the order is I created the products.
Yes, yes.
Meaning the one piece leads to the next piece. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about creativity, because I truly believe that everyone, it could be you're a fabulous cook, you're this and that, everyone has their field of favor in a creative fashion.
I agree. Well, we have a creative engine inside of us. We all do. It's a long, long stream of possibilities, but unfortunately, not everybody will tap into them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has it. We all were created in the image of God too, and we all can maximize our potential just as much as the next person, right? But many people just really get stuck a lot of times. And there's that creativity that's there. Everybody's creativity may look a little bit different, but creativity essentially is there. And what I started doing, Megan, at a very young age is playing with creative clothes, going in my grandmother's closet, going to my grandfather's closet, going to middle school and dressing very different. And then when I got to high school and even college, one of the things I did in college was I went around and picked out people all over the college that I felt had this beauty inside of them but didn't see it, or this beauty, or they look so beautiful. They could be a model, or they would just kind of walk around. They were so quiet. And so I would pick them out and transform them and then do a big fashion show
Oh,
on
wow.
campus. And people were like, oh my gosh, is that Henry? Is that Susie? Like, seeing people come out of their shell, Megan, has been a passion of mine for a long time. So that's why I love wardrobe styling. I love seeing people understand that they have a signature beauty that cannot be touched. And
Yeah.
when you understand your signature beauty apart from everyone else, you will present yourself just differently. And then I saw that there was a correlation, Megan, to the way that people would present themselves in an environment. When they like their outfit, they will talk louder, stronger, more powerful, right? If people are not happy with how they look, what they're wearing, they kind of cower back, they don't speak as loud. It also represents credibility, and it shows so many things about you when you take care of those details and you show your creativity, right? You
Right.
want to work with people who are vivacious and who have vitality, that are not dull and mundane, unless you may be a professor or I don't know. Some professors are fun too as well,
Yeah.
but I mean sometimes that has its place when people may not be as colorful or whatever, but you can still be that person even in those environments, right, Megan? Because
Absolutely.
even when I was in corporate America, it would be a rainy day. I would wear a yellow suit, right, on a rainy day and light up the environment, and everyone loved the clothes that I wore because what did it do? It cheered them up. It was something creative. It was something exciting. So you all, if you're watching and you don't know your signature style, you have one. Everyone has a signature style, a signature beauty, a purpose that aside from anyone else. And when you tap into the creative engine of who you are, you're going to see all of those things change, from your style, right? To the way that you smile, to the way that you go hard, the risk taking that you do, all of it will come together.
I wish you lived here, Dr. Tanjie. I'm listening to you about your college, exploration and pulling the people together and giving them that hope and possibilities, meaning they didn't even see themselves that way, but then you help them. But this last couple of years, I've been given a mandate to release and get ready. And, God is revealing what that get ready is for, but that's a whole different evening. But I've loved clothes forever. I mean, I'm talking about even as a little person. And, and I, as Barbara Majeski will say, I'm on the 7th floor. So, I have accumulated things that are very creative. And of course, I don't get rid of them. So I'm at a place now, it's like, oh my God, I have to really cull through these and curate them. And so I'm trying. But I wish that you were here and we could do exactly what you just said and go to different organizations and do fashion shows for women. I wish that was the case. But it's the rubber kind of met the road here, and I've got to take many steps to release all of this stuff. But it's happening. But
yeah, we put it out there, so maybe one day we'll do just that, Megan. We'll do just that.
That is the case, my friend. We met at an event called the Mom Link. That was a in real time event in Florida.
Yes.
And it was an evening event, and it was a beautiful event at Gina Skelton and Todd Skelton's home. Beautiful, beautiful. And it was just a lovely, lovely night. But we all wore hot pink.
Oh, that's true.
We all. And you and I and there was a lot of music and a lot of dancing, a lot of fun. And I just remember how you just made sure that I not so much just felt comfortable, but included into sharing your joie de vivre, your just magical essence. And but we connected, we were aligned. And so I just want to spend a minute before we close about joy.
Yes.
Just want to spend a minute about joy because I don't know if Maria Lind is listening, but our connection is around joy. And Glenn Lundy did his 1,000 episode and in Lexington, Kentucky. So he had this in real time conference. And I had been a rising grinder for 2-3 years, whatever it was at that time. And so many of us, especially the gals that live in the area, put together a dinner. So for the Rise and Grind gang. So I went to that and I was there, and all of a sudden this woman walks up to me. I have no idea who she is, zero. And she said, I had to meet you. I'm like, oh, okay. And she said, I heard you on Clubhouse saying, lean into the joy. And she said, it helped me so much during a moment in time that I was going through. And so to me, joy is a non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. Yeah.
It's a non-negotiable. It's when I am fretting about something, then I say, okay, let's throw in joy. No matter, there's joy in the whatever's going on. So share your thoughts about, we're talking about, fashion, we're talking about energy, we're talking about color, we're talking about joy, essentially. And we started off by talking about hope, but share your thoughts about joy.
Yeah. Joy is a tangible cloak you wear. It is something that you wear that people can see even before you open up your mouth. People can see the joy coming from you, oozing from you. You're either going to put something in an environment or you're going to just take it away. And for me, joy has been something, Megan, that I can tell you. Like, I literally wake up and feel it. It's like joy is connected to love, in my opinion, right? Yeah. I feel like different realms of love every single day. And I feel different waves and realms of joy. It's like, can it get even better? It grows and grows. And it is one of those things where it is truly a choice, right? To let joy just consume you. When something happens, recently, I went and had a surprise party for a friend. And I went to an event on Saturday, and my door got banged in, right? The door to my car. And
Mm.
so I said, wow, what a joyous occasion this is. But I thought about, well, that's what insurance is for. That's what this is for. Why do you let things cloud your mind and overthink things? It's just a possession. It's just what it is. Put it where it is and don't let it affect your joy, right? So
Amen.
many people allow bad drivers to affect their joy on the road, right? The road ragers, they allow a phone call to affect their joy. I made a decision,
That,
Megan,
that,
that my joy cannot be tampered with. And I protect my joy at all costs. I know the phone calls that I may not want to answer at times. I mean, sometimes, you want to give them that little expression. You don't want to just shun people away because everybody needs someone, right? And someone is not going to always call you with a joyful attitude. And so what can you do? So I know how to handle that. So sometimes you may take the call, but how do you switch it really quickly, right? How do you switch on that positivity meter? And so the joy that you have to understand that no one can take it away unless you give it to them.
that's it. That's it. It
Point
and
blank.
that that meter of, I love going to wherever, it could be Starbucks, and the guy or gal is grumpy, and you respond to them in a joyful manner, and they're like, oh, and it shifts that atmosphere. It truly does.
It
It's
really does.
a choice. It truly is a
Yes.
choice.
And the compliments that you give people, I look to give someone a compliment, especially if they're being really curt or a little mean to me. I may look for a feature on their face. Wow, you have beautiful lips. Wow, your cheeks are amazing. And I just will see how that little sharpness, that edge that they have just melts away. And we have to understand that people are oftentimes wearing their situation. And we, Megan, may be at a point that we're not wearing ours, but it does not mean that we compare or we judge the people that are not where we are. And so what I do, I want to rub off my joy, Megan. I look to see how I can rub off my joy and who I am onto someone else, because really the world needs more joy, and we have to be the ones to spread it. And that's to your children, that's to your spouses, that's wherever you are. You have to walk with joy, because oftentimes you're going to get people that are not going to give you joy back. And you have to be someone who understands that you have to give and not expect to receive anything in return. And when you're at that place, when you're there, Megan, woo, I'm telling you, that is a
Make a
powerful place. And
noise.
I thank God that I'm there. I can truly say that in my life, at this moment in my life, Megan, the joy is extremely abundant. I protect it. And I hope you all feel the joy, even watching this segment today. And just protect your joy, give joy, and know that you can turn your joy meter all the way up because it is there for the taking. It is
Amen.
there.
As I said, a joyful noise. Well, thank you. Hallelujah that you came
Yes.
on
And
tonight.
this one little statement: a merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a
Yes.
broken spirit does what? Dries the bones.
Bones. Exactly. And, I will leave with this. My mom and father, they were like the Notebook, and they passed months between. Yes.
I
Yes.
love that. That's one of my
Yes.
faves.
Yes, and she passed first, and he was brokenhearted, yes, but she was 96, he was 94. They had a great life, but we went to New Jersey for her funeral, and we're at my sister's, and I'm in the kitchen making my father tea the morning before we went to Long Island, and he said to me, you're very lucky. And I looked at him like, what script have you read? And he said, you're very lucky. And I looked at him like, okay. And he goes, you have a happy heart. And
Amen. Amen.
so I still believe with that guys, lean into joy. It is a choice, and happiness is in the heart. So thank you, Dr. Tanji, for joining
You're
me.
you're most welcome. It's been a pleasure here. Thank you all for joining too as well. Continue to rock your purpose with vitality. And Megan, I love all that you're doing to spread joy, propel people forward, and what you're getting ready to do in the future with that vision that you've been sharing with everybody. This challenge. I can't wait to even hear more about that.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. So if you'd like to stay in the green room, I'm just going to say goodnight and close the evening.
All
Thank
right. Bye-bye.
What a beautiful night. And I just am so blessed to have Dr. Tanjie Brewer in my life, as well as a part of these events, such as last Thursday night, or Thursday, I should say, the Propel expansion, propelling and expanding your life, and empowerment challenge. So we just put out tonight so many thoughts and nuggets to just glean from, and just know that it is a choice, that joy is a choice. Take that first step. The second and third step will be revealed to you. That just know that nothing stays the same. It always evolves. And with that, join us in the Propel community. There's a link here. Join us and you'll receive so many things that will add to your life and be part of a community. As we said, you cannot do life alone. It's together. And we will build all of this together. And I have so many plans to help you to understand, today, tomorrow, in the future, as I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt said, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery. God's gift to us is today. That's why it's called the present. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next Wednesday evening for the Propel Deep Dive Global for my next leader and legend. And you be blessed. Thank you.
Hello, peace. Hello, joy. Hello, love. Hello, strength. Hello, hope.
Dr. Tandy did leave.
Okay, pretty good. It's 8